All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. August 25th, 2023. Glad to be on board with you guys this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. One quick thing I wanted to note, I did post a quick 5-minute audio clip video, or not a video, excuse me, not a podcast either. It's just an audio clip. I wrote some stuff regarding trader psychology. Did it rather quickly. Decided to just talk about it since I think it kind of matches the tone of this week. We're going to go over that here in a little bit, just kind of like the roller coaster ride, right? So again, I think a quick hitter on mastering trader psychology, kind of talking about greed and fear, kind of self-talk. You know, I guess kind of a little Tony Robbins in there. I do love me some Tony Robbins, but really it's just really to help you guys. Instead of doing it as a YouTube video, I went ahead and did it as an audio clip, recorded my voice doing it. I apologize if I sound a little robotic. The idea is to listen to the principles, not to the speaker itself either. So it is on Spotify, on our podcast channel. I haven't posted a lot on there lately since I've been doing more YouTube. So that's been, I think, working for everybody instead of just doing a podcast every week. I'll get you all the content you want if I just can get the subjects. That's kind of the deal. I don't want to run out of stuff to talk about either. So there it is right there. That's the audio clip on trader psychology. Happy I did it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so Dow futures are up 160 points, 34,300. The NASDAQ is up 0.21%. The S&P is up above 4,400 at 4,402. Russell's at 1860, up 0.57%. That's outperforming. Yields are still up, 4.243%. Kind of quiet on the Western front in a sense, right? Feeling like the Dow's up, but everyone's kind of holding their collective breath because Jerome Powell will be speaking at the Jackson Hole Symposium with central bankers. That'll be at 10 a.m. this morning, I believe 10 or 10:15. So all eyes really are on what we spoke about, yields and the dollar. And yields are up this morning. We're going to segue to the dollar, 103.96 on the dollar, and again, that's flat. So volatility index, the VIX, 1685. If you guys remember, and have been here a while, we talked about that. The VIX smash program on Fridays. For some reason, the VIX tends to tank on a Friday. I think today will be no different, guys. Crude oil is up 1.5%, $80 a barrel. Just remember, a week ago, we were at $85 a barrel. So crude oil taking a step back. Gasoline futures, $2.58. Rather flat, 0.05%. Gold futures, even with the dollar down, 1944, down about 0.13%, maybe a risk-off sentiment there. I saw some UOAs for September for GLD. This was a couple of weeks, I think last week, for some calls, I think around the 180 level on GLD. I have been looking at them. I didn't see more volume after that. I think the play here in terms of gold about those bullish calls is the fact that we'll probably get lower yields with Powell speaking or a Fed pause in September. That's what it seems to be, that bet. Again, GLD hasn't done much, but again, it is red this morning, so maybe a risk-off sentiment. Silver futures, 24.25 this morning, flat. Copper, flat as well, $3.77. Euro dollar, 108.12, that's flat. 145.96 for the dollar yen. That's rather flat, up 10 pips. 126.22, same deal. Pound always moves, pretty volatile, and that's only up 22. So again, kind of that all quiet on the Western front feel. Bitcoin, 26,300, that's up 0.61%. Ethereum, 1661 this morning, up 0.58%. And that's where we are this morning. Let's answer a question really quickly, and then we're going to start talking about the market in general and what happened. Morning, levels to add AMD for long term. All right, if you wanted to add AMD, the idea is, I assume, that you have AMD now. 91.99, that's the 200-day. I think that's the level you're looking for. I don't mind the $100 level either. And again, keep in mind, I hope if you're for long term, yes, $100 is fine. I think you may deviate 10 bucks, 10% or so. So again, if you're someone that's trying to get their exact price, you can always do like kind of that median level, the 61.8 fib at 96.55. Or you can just dollar cost average it over time on an AMD. So I love AMD long term. I have a great story on AMD back in 2013. 97 cents. Yep, bought 500 shares at 97 cents on AMD. Happy ending, right? Got to $5, I cashed out. Yep, cashed out on AMD at $5. So let that be a lesson to buy and hold on a good company that could explode. You never know. You get some hits, you get some misses. That's just the way it goes. Every time I see AMD, that just breaks my heart. Microsoft. Let's take a look at it. This morning, we are bouncing a bit, and we're going to talk about that. So Microsoft, again, runs pretty close to the S&P due to its weight. We retested the highs of Friday, 3 Fridays ago? And we rejected. And I think with Microsoft, again, you can kind of do the same thing for the NASDAQ. But in terms of Microsoft itself, I do expect that something is going to happen where Powell says something. I don't know what, but the market's going to react positively. I think we rallied today, guys. I may think I'm a little crazy, but I think it's a rally not because of anything new. I think it's just a rally because it's still very illiquid. We don't have a lot of volume, and these moves are just back and forth. I feel like we're just doing ping pong between algorithms pretty much the last couple of weeks. Yes, we could have been setting up for that head and shoulder. Yes, we talked about that. We did not tag 4,500. I wish we did. We didn't. And yes, we can call this a bearish engulfing candle. But all we did was really retest Monday. That's really it. Think about it. We got to Monday's levels right around here, and we're bouncing. I'm pretty sure, and I'm looking at it here, 44.40 seems about right. 44.50. I think that we get a rally today. Would I want to play SPY calls into it? No, I'm going to wait for Powell, but I just have this feeling that they're just going to pop you and then they're going to drop you. And it's just going to be that kind of tape. And it's not going to be news driven. I think it's going to be lack of liquidity driven, where buy orders are just going to sway the market back and forth, mostly through mega cap. So if we take a look just really since Sunday, I mean, the market is still green for the week, technically speaking, even with all that would happen. So Wednesday we had the Nvidia print, Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, you could see since yesterday, we just had a big sell program, another sell program, and it was just an ugly, ugly tape. That happened to us with Amazon yesterday. So think of the worst possible scenario, and that's pretty much what happened with these two trades, Amazon and Boeing. So let's go and take a look at Amazon first. Amazon, we're going to go ahead and bring up the 1 hour chart to really give us some context. Let's take a look at it. We got into Amazon, and I'm doing the video this weekend recapping our trades, and it wasn't really money trades. But again, today is a new day. Maybe we do some great things today, which I'm always ready to do. Again, Amazon, our target was 137 calls. That was the target. So we were looking for that 200-day moving average. That's really all we were looking for on the 1 hour, but breaking above this green dotted line. Keep it in mind. So we push higher into Wednesday, and then what happens? We hold it. We were down like, 20-something%, and we said, hey guys, we're going to hold it into the print for Nvidia. We know where we're going. We get to 137 in the money. We get to 138 in the money. Literally at 4 a.m. Start sliding. Nothing real concern. We're still in the money. We were happy as can be after hours and pre-market. Right at 8 a.m., we started sliding. Right as we opened, I look at my Amazon 137 calls. Granted in the money, target hit. We were looking at 137 to 140, and we flush. We cascade down. The highest point those Amazon calls got to was down 12%. That's really nothing you can do. That's just absolutely a kick in the nuts. It's going to hurt for a bit, but eventually you get over it. Pretty much the best analogy I could give you, and it just sucks. And there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could prepare for that, because this was in the money pre-market, and we just didn't have any kind of control. Could have we have bought it for next week? It would have been the same thing. We would have been bleeding slower. So just ugly reversals, and they happen so often, and it just is brutal, and it just sucks to see, because it's really something out of our control, because we hit target. We really did, and that's a shame. Boeing, nothing to do with targets, just the fact that it was a headline that hit regarding the suppliers. And that really sucks, because we tanked. We were at 230, we had 235 calls, we were looking for that 20, and then we gapped down. Now we have a gap here at 215.02, which may attract some bears. I was looking at that yesterday. Now we're up pre-market to 218 slightly. Mind you, we have a gap to fill at 226. So you're between two gaps. There's nothing you can do. That's just headline risk, and that really sucks. That's two trades right off the rip. Masterclass, AMD calls. Again, a lotto. I don't know if anyone else took it, but I know I did. We got to 113.71. Granted, we had the 110 calls. These things got as high as 18% and then just absolutely obliterated. Just all calls, even Nvidia holders, they all got hit. And what happened with Nvidia really yesterday? People took profit. People took profit around that $500 level and said, get me out. If you were holding really since when? COVID? Maybe just this year alone? And you're sitting on the stock when it was 180, 200, and you got to 500, you take your money and run, right? I mean, not a bad deal. Better than, I guess using credit cards. I can't really say why everyone sold at 500. I just think it was just selling. Selling in a pretty much illiquid tape. This is the second highest Nvidia volume a day since last earnings in May. So I think it was all just get me out at any cost, take your profits and run. That's what I think happened in Nvidia. And that's fine. I mean, does it really change fundamentally what Nvidia did in their earnings, knocking it out? No. Does it change fundamentally what we think about Nvidia? It's either really, really cheap or really, really expensive, like we talked about yesterday on the morning note. Is it Cisco or is it the new Tesla and Apple? Arguments could be made for both. We don't know how much the market cap for AI is. Remember, this is a chip company that really did gaming and that kind of hardware, right? Autonomous vehicles, we talked about Nvidia many times. But AI really put it to the next forefront. So think of it as Apple Computer, who just made computers, right? Everyone knew then. And then the iPod came out, and they were big. But then the iPhone changed Apple forever. They are a phone company. Make no mistake about it. They make computers, but they're a phone company, phone hardware company, and they sell a lot of phones. I would equate that to Nvidia. If AI is the same as the mobile phone market, we're having a different conversation about Nvidia. We'll look back to this day 5 years from now and say, my God, how cheap was Nvidia back in 2023? Again, it really depends on your perspective. As a shareholder, again, I'm just going to hold it because it's just easier to. Just don't touch it. Leave it alone. Matter of fact, just change your password. Leave it alone so you don't have any impulses. Stock investing really, and I heard this analogy from Josh Brown on CNBC, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. He said, there's people who go in the shower. They set it at one temperature that they feel comfortable in, and they leave it alone. And then there's some that like to mess with it back and forth according to the temperature they liked for comfort. I think that's most investors. They like to kind of mess with it. And that's totally cool. I mean, obviously, if you're in this channel, you care about investing. But more times than not, it's just as simple as just leaving the water at the temperature and leaving it alone. And, if you loved NVIDIA at 140, you should love it at 471. And if you loved it at 502, I'm sure you'll love it at 471. It's kind of that same thing. Now, the only other thing I can tell you in regards to NVIDIA, you have one more catalyst now, in my opinion, that bulls can hang on to for more upside. And it's a stock split. I think NVIDIA can do that. They've done it before. I think it was a 10-1. So again, if they did a stock split at a 500 clip, again, they would be at a $50 stock. So again, I think a stock split, there's no rumor on that. Nothing has been said. But in my opinion, that is a catalyst for this stock. And again, forget the company itself. Let's just talk about the stock itself. Will it be more attractive if they did a stock split? Amazon did one. Tesla did one. Apple done many. These companies do this thing. Google as well. So don't be surprised. Maybe in 18 months, where we get a little bit of a pullback or something like that, NVIDIA does some kind of stock split. So if you're someone that kind of wants to get your hands on NVIDIA, kind of the sticker price kind of shocks you, 471, oh my God, I missed the boat. Stock splits do happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one. Should it change your mentality on investing in it? No. But again, that's a catalyst moving forward that could happen. I think NVIDIA now is more of a financial engine or a financial vehicle instead of a company now. So many people are invested in it. I think people look at Apple more as, yeah, I have Apple in my portfolio. Everyone has, right? S&P. We see that more as a financial part of our portfolios than anything else. And Tesla's more fans. I think most people have hardcore base in terms of Tesla than an Nvidia. And they were talking about that yesterday on CNBC. And I thought that was rather interesting. It's not going to be as simple as will Nvidia pull back. The question is, will people who own Nvidia now sell? Will Nvidia ever offer more shares? Will they do a split? That's something you got to think about. Supply and demand is very crucial in the stock market, regardless of the company. Is the stock in demand? After you beat revenues by 87%, raise guidance, I mean, it's a monster. And again, it comes to the simple premise one more time. How big is the AI market? Are we at mania, peak mania, or we're just getting started? Just depends. All right, do you see Tesla going back to 280? Let's see it. Tesla going back to 280? Yeah, I just don't see it happening next month or anything. No. In order to get to around 280, you got to at least clear 250. We were getting there. I'll put an alert there at 241.75 to go ahead and play the bounce up to 250 or so. We did not get that. And again, it's been rather choppy back and forth, back and forth. We still have a gap to fill, another one, to the downside at 220. I think we get another crack at it with some volatility, depending on what Powell says. But I still think that the market bounces today anyways. So we may get a chance at just being around the 240 area on Tesla. Maybe that by the end of the day. Could be. I wouldn't trade it. They could just chop you too. So not a lot of edge here. Again, you're still below the 20, which again is showing more downside. But you got this 100 MA support of 222.12. We breached it once and then we snapped back after that. So again, we're starting to get rather tight between the 100 and the 20. If the 20 breaks below the 100, that means more issues for the stock itself. And we may get a chance to get below 200 and maybe test that 180 trend line. Just depends. Good morning, Carlos. SPY-G versus VUG. I want to say VUG. Let's see. VUG. I want to say it's Vanguard. Let's see it. Yeah, Growth Index Fund. And again, I think one is S&P. I think that one is State Street S&P, and the ETF and or BlackRock maybe, and the other one is Vanguard. It's really just preference. Worst, you can compare expense ratios, how much it costs to own that fund. But it's just an index fund. They're all low cost because there's not much to do. It just track the S&P. So again, I think it's more of just your preference. It tracks SPY. It's the same thing. It's whatever the broker or your 401k provider, retirement plan provider offers you. And again, all of them have S&P 500 fund. Just keep it in there and you'll be fine. The one I don't recommend is those life funds. The ones that have mixtures based on your retirement age. The 2050 retirement fund. And they kind of do the balancing for you. It's not worth it. Just buy an S&P 500 fund. It's going to save you money long term because those funds charge expense fees. And again, that's money out of your pocket that you really don't need to use. If you want some international exposure or bonds, they offer it there. Just buy an index of it. You don't need to pay a fund manager to do what you're going to do forever, which is just invest for retirement every paycheck. It's the best way to do things. And you're very welcome. All right, guys, we'll go and leave it there. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do a video recapping the week. Again, depending on how we end today, either going to be a quick one or a rather long one. So we'll see how it goes. Have a great rest of your morning. Powell comes in around 10 a.m. Make sure to keep it locked on the Discord server for all updates. Powell will speak at 10:05. Harker will speak with Bloomberg. Mester on CNBC at 11:30. Harker on Yahoo Finance Live. 12:30 is Goldsby on CNBC, and then he goes on Bloomberg at 2, and at 2:30 is Mester on Bloomberg. So tons of Fed speakers. Should be a fun one. Watch for landmines. Be careful. Be patient. And we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.